Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. Welcome to the Massive Iron channel. I'm Steve Shaw. And Massive Iron, that's me. Welcome to the Massive Iron channel. It is Friday, March 17th. Is it St. Patrick's Day? Alexa, is it St. Patrick's Day?
St. Patrick's Day is today.
Hey, my goodness. Look at me. I'm wearing green. I thought it was, but I'm busy trying to sell my house, so I forgot. How you guys doing? Just as a few housekeeping notes, I'm here every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern and will be probably until I pass over dead. I might even pass over dead live sometime on Massive Iron Live. That would be not a good day for me, but we're just going to keep going till that happens. So 11 a.m. Eastern every week. Now, before we get into things, if you're new here, please do not be shy about posting up a question. There are no dumb questions, just stupid questions, awkward questions, a little bit weird questions, but post your question. We will handle it. Post as many questions as you want. If your question does not go through, it is not me censoring you or throttling you. It is the YouTube. Being grumpy. So you can head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman. Slide into my DM with your questions if you miss live. You can follow me on Twitter, Twatter, Tutor as well. I don't really pay much attention to that. That's Elon Musk's world. But anyway, if your question doesn't go through, you can send over live. How you guys doing today? How you guys doing? We're creeping towards summer. What are you guys lifting today? What program you doing? I haven't had the best week. We're trying to sell our house and buy a new one, and this will be my first real home purchase in my life. So a lot of chaos for sure. Just a reminder, if you post a question before live starts every week, you get a chance to win a free t-shirt, hoodie, or Massive Iron Whey protein. Now, just a quick commercial before we get into things. Coaching. I have a couple coaching slots available. You can go over to superlivingtoday.com, click the coaching tab. I'm not a check-in once a week guy. Coaching is what I do full time. I take your results seriously. I look to build relationships with my clients. Checking in 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. I leave you guys alone on the weekends now. TeamMassiveIron.com. Check that out. We got a really good group over there, a community. So if you're sick and tired of Facebook, it is TeamMassiveIron.com. I also have The Massive Fitness, where I sell racks, barbells, and benches. They just arrived, and we're gonna be rolling full speed on Monday with sales. So if you need some equipment for the home gym, we have arguably the best on the planet. We work really hard to put together some of the best equipment. All right, let's dive into things, you sexy, maybe ugly people. Let's see what today has in store for us. We have any epic rants? We have any epic trolls? We have any epic weirdos? All right, post your lifting questions. Let's go. Assassin. Happy Friday from your favorite assassin. Thank you for joining. Assassin's a part of Team Massive. Zach is a part of Team Massive. Good morning, Zach. Rico is a part of Team Massive. Look, Team Massive, teammassiveiron.com. Deep voice one. Do you find that a non-converging seated machine? Well, we got a lot of words here, right? You're hitting me like right out of the gate on a Friday. Do you find that a non-converging seated machine shoulder press carries over well to overheads? I believe you mean by non-converging, like when you get down here and then it converges kind of at the bottom. Is that what you're saying? Because some of them angle out as you press. Strength builds strength. The question is to what degree? I believe you should have an overhead shoulder press in the mix if you can. If you have access to one, it feels good for you. But everything carries over to everything else. I am a more holistic guy. I want you to build strength and muscle from head to toe. So we want to use as many weapons as we can. Everything in the massive iron world is going to converge to help everything else. That's our goal. So we're going to do a dumbbell overhead. We're going to do a barbell overhead. We're going to do a machine if we can. a dumbbell bench, a barbell bench, a machine bench if we can, something like that, right? Dips, whatever. But all these triceps work will help as well, building a big overhead, as well as nailing your nutrition. So yes, to what degree, that's debatable. Someone just dropped a $5 donation in, so I appreciate that. That was from Bruce. Thank you, Bruce. Just showing some support. We're sharing pounds and you're helping keeping me accountable. I appreciate it, man. I really do. And I enjoy working with you. Just kind of getting a feel for Bruce and his habits. Bruce is doing the no carb thing, only meat, right? And one of my favorite ways to eat. So he is on track with that. What do we got? Rico. How's everything mentally and physically? Physically good. Mentally a little bit stressed. Our business, we own a downtown property, and that sounds really fancy, right? Yeah, but we were lucky enough to get one, and I got my gym below. And we're looking at buying a home, and we're looking at selling this. The home has a finished basement, and it's perfect for a gym. It's just perfect for a gym and a filming studio, new filming studio for Massive Iron. So we might be getting an upgrade. That's pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. And the dogs wouldn't mind a backyard. So happy Friday from Deep Voice One and Big Sam Waddington. Happy Friday. Chest day, best day. Let it rip, and let's see some PRs. Do you need a large? No, you don't need to worry about arch at all on bench. You don't need to worry about leg drive at all on bench. Don't do it during training. Benching is all about the biggest lie in hypertrophy is that you need to worry about leg drive and arching and all this kind of crap on hypertrophy bench. No, you do not. It's hard to sustain a super tight arch and super leg drive, over the course of a hypertrophy set. Just set that stuff aside, guys. Set it aside. And the thing you need to worry about is controlling your reps. So you're not just dive bombing and losing that tension, controlling it down. And that's really about it. Just controlling the way down. You're going to be fine on bench. You're going to be fine. So no, don't do that stuff. If you're going to get into powerlifting and every inch counts, right? I just had to say it. Don't hate me, right? Don't hate me. Every inch counts in powerlifting and some other things, right? Baseball, it's a game of inches. You thought I was going somewhere else, didn't you? But no, I was going to baseball. So if you're going to do powerlifting and you want to practice your arch, great. But you shouldn't even, in my opinion, you shouldn't even train like that because it's hard to sustain that stuff during a higher rep set, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 reps. So if you get strong just with control and then you're trying to show your strength in a powerlifting meet with an arch and leg drive, that's not going to add a lot to begin with. It's going to be trivial. So using it can be a complete distraction when you are training. Big Mark from the Philippines. Glad you're tuning in. What are your thoughts on dumbbell pullovers? Well, the first thing I'm going to say on the dumbbell pullover is I got a question this week, like it hits my triceps. What can I do? Am I doing anything wrong? No. Like one of the functions of the long head of the tricep is elbow rotation. Look at that karate chop action, right? The old 1979 Kung Fu Kendo karate chop action. Right. So elbow rotation is part of the function of the long head of the triceps. So when you're doing a dumbbell pullover, you're going to have that elbow rotation. So your triceps are going to come into play. That is okay. That's the first thing I want to explain, whether you're doing a pullover or a lat prayer, lat prayer on the lat pull down machine. So know that your triceps are probably going to get worked, and that's okay. Do I find there's also a variation called the PJR pullover, which I have some of my clients do, where you go like this and then you rotate and extend up. It's kind of like a pullover with more of an extension. And then regular pullovers. Would I say they're underrated? I wouldn't. I mean, we would split hairs with Are they underrated? Are they appropriately rated? I don't think they're the best mass exercise, but they're certainly an exercise you can have in the mix. It's not an exercise you shouldn't consider. It's a mid-carder. It's a good exercise to have in the mix if you find them okay. It is certainly an exercise not a lot of people talk about, and you probably don't see a lot of people execute them very well, to be honest with you. It's like an RDL, that it's not a lift that people often nail the form on. I'm very particular about my RDL form to the point where I think I piss off half of the other YouTube channels, because people are just doing bended, hip hinge deadlifts, and that's not an RDL. The RDL is you're trying to load the hamstrings. There's a difference between RDL and like a stiff leg deadlift or a slightly bent leg deadlift. So anyway, Big Mark, is it Augustine or Augustine? Or it could even be Augustine with a silent E. If you have skull destroyers for tricepticons, what would you do? Incorporate something like this for biceps? Well, 21s are a good choice. Those are 7.5. Those are 7 half reps at the bottom, 7 half reps at the top, and 7 complete reps. I have some of my clients do that. It's kind of the same thing, although we haven't incorporated rest pause into that mix, which you probably could. So that would probably be the closest thing, I would say, to that. Big Barbell Bryce, currently using your variation of the seated pin press and loving it. My question is, how long can I? Forever, man, forever. You don't need to rotate anything out. You don't need to rotate anything out, any lift ever, never, unless you want to try something different. Your body's not going to adapt. That's nonsense. It's a dated, quite frankly, it's an idiotic concept, and it confuses people. You don't need to rotate anything out. I've used the same exercises for 38 years. As long as you focus on consistency, progressive overload, and a reasonable exercise selection, you don't need to rotate anything out. The body's not going to adapt to a movement pattern. If that was the case, we'd have to jump ships off squats and leg press every 3 months, and it's not the case. There is no general guideline. Exercise rotation, none. You can use the same exercises the entire course of your life. If you want to try something new, that's fine. Rotate it in, though, kind of for, in a position of one of your backup or more minor exercises. Does that make sense? What's my general guideline for exercise rotation? Take the concept, and then pull that concept right over the garbage can and drop it into the garbage. Oops, I made a mess. That's my advice for that concept. Put it in the shit can. Put it in the trash can. Excuse my language. Stein. Happy Friday, Stein. Thanks for joining in. Big Timothy Lynn. During one of my workouts, my JM press was just not grooving. It can happen. It's a kind of a wonky lift at times. Reps fell a lot and technique felt off. No, it just, when you see something consistently happening, that's okay. I go through this on squats. Sometimes I go through it on deads. It can happen. Sometimes it's a mental game, right? Where you just aren't connected or things just aren't grooving mentally. So if it happens consistently over time, then it becomes a problemo. I'm a dad. What's your superpower? Morning massive mammals. Thanks for tuning in. What's the minimum amount of fat intake you recommend on a cut for men? Very good question. Now, let me get a drink. All right. I'm a little bit thirsty. I celebrated my 5th-year wedding anniversary yesterday and probably low on fluids. I don't know. What do you say there? I'm setting myself up for bad jokes today. What is the minimum amount of fat intake So in general, and these are not rules, so don't get your undies in a bundy, anybody that's listening, just generalizations. 25 to 30 not on a cut is a good range-ish to be. Okay. You need fat intake for organ health and skin and brain and central nervous system health and all kinds of stuff. So we need fat. We all know that. On a cut, though, we want to pull it back a little bit because we want to focus on food volume. Now, fat has 9 calories per gram, so it's a little bit more calorie dense. So during a cut, we probably want to pull it back to about 20%. This opens us up to more carbs and protein during the day, which opens up the door to more food volume. So from there, you want to take your proteins and you want to move them to a leaner protein. You want to move them to more leaner choices in general. So what you're doing there is you reduce fats to about 20%, opening the door to more food volume. You reduce protein to more leaner protein choices. Leaner. You could even go like egg whites or Greek yogurt or leaner forms of beef, chicken, them shrimps, right, prawns, whatever. And that opens the door to more food volume. And your carbs, you could reduce the kind of really higher carb choices. Like, I'm not telling you to cut them out completely, but you could reduce the more carb dense plant-based choices, and you could open the door to even more food volume. So there's, man, I need to write this down. I mean, that's a great way of looking at it. So, but this is a great way to increase your food volume. Plus, protein is going to provide a lot of general satiety. You're going to be more satisfied. So those are my general rules for a cut, and I hope that helps you guys. Big Zoldyck Cujo, happy Friday, Steve. Thank you, sir. Thanks for the great information, and thank you for tuning in. You guys could take your eyeballs anywhere, right? But you're having them here, and that is a gift that I sincerely appreciate. Big Timothy, thoughts on the recent hype about partial? No, they ignore the hype. One thing I want you guys to do is one general rule in hypertrophy. I got to tell you guys something. All right. Gather around a campfire. We're going to have a campfire talk. It's 2023. And we pretty much know everything we need to know on hypertrophy. We do. We pretty much know. It comes down to hard training and consistent nutrition. And we know all the basic rules. There's 1,000 different ways to do it. You can do low volume. You can do high volume. You can take any of these and make them work if the application is implemented properly, right? So all this hype stuff that comes along, it's like us sitting around a campfire enjoying our Friday live, and someone runs by naked screening and just ripping farts, right? Just trying to distract us. That's what it is. That's what the hype is. We're around the massive iron campfire, chilling during live, and some naked guy just ran by in the background, just letting it rip. That's what hype is to me. Is some crazy guy screaming in the background, just ripping off big juice bombs, right? Just letting it torch out and trying to distract us. Don't fall for it, man. You want to play with these tools. That's great, but never for a second totally think you need to rewire your programming. If you want to play with these in the periphery to see if they add value, great, but they will never replace the fundamentals. They will never replace the fundamentals. You don't need any partial range of motion. You don't need a stretch muscle position. You don't need any of that stuff. That's not to say it can't be applied properly and have some value in your program, but it's not the holy grail. Big Zach Barker, when and why did you change your channel from Bearded Beast to Duloc the Massive Iron? It was kind of a slow transition. And also, when did the big, hairy, ugly dude name come from? Initially, okay, the Bearded Beast of Duloc was the initial name of this channel. Duloc. I'm from Fond, Fond, DU, LOC, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I'm from Fond du Lac, LAC. So it's actually DULAC, Fond du Lac. I was born in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. So I was the bearded beast of Dulac, right? Fond du Lac sounds a little bit weird, so it was just Dulac. That was just a channel name, right? Before I had YouTube, I had my own website and just this very successful forum at Muscle and Brawn. I no longer own Muscle and Brawn, so please don't go over there. Some dickhead owns it now that's trying to sell fake steroids. I can't control that. I sold ownership. So that's where I started in the Muscle and Brawn forum eras. And that kind of grew into Ben the Barman. You know, that was kind of Ben the Bar or Ben the Barman. That was kind of my nickname. Ben the Barman, believe it or not, came from a benching cue of rowing it down or bending the bar together at the ends and not deadlifts. Interestingly enough, that's where the cue came from. But over time, I put together a book called Massive Iron, and I put together a website called Massive Iron, and it just became it was just the thing. It was Massive Iron. That was my book. It was a Massive Iron channel, and this was probably 10 years ago. We started making the transition. The Big Hairy Ugly Dude. I don't know, man. I think I just sometimes you just entertain yourself on here. And I think I was probably just entertaining myself one day saying, hey, I'm the big, hairy, ugly, right, dude. And that's just where it came, Buddha, right? So I don't know. Things just kind of, when you do this for a long, long time, you don't I didn't put together a marketing plan and get a marketing team or anything, obviously. I love Massive Iron. I think it completely sums up my attitude, towards hypertrophy and power building and everything and just living, Massive Iron, massive living. It's just my life, massive everything, massive benching, massive hypertrophy. It's just, it fits with who I am, and so I think it's just a great fit. And the Big Hairy Ugly Dude was just something that came one day and people picked up on it and ran with it. So we're just going to run with it. You guys run with it. I'll run with it, right? I've been called a lot worse, that's for sure. Tips on maximizing productivity when studying or working. All right, first off, get you one of these. You see this little magic futuristic device here? This got 3, 5, 10, 30. This is a work timer. So you can hit the timer. Let's see if we can do it here. Okay. And you can press and see it's counting down for 30. So if I turn it on to 25 or whatever I turn it to, if I set it on 15, it starts counting down for 15. If I set it on 3, it does 3. So this is a work timer. And these are really invaluable, especially in the social media era where you have a tendency to check your phone every 3 seconds. So doing a block of time, like let's say I'm going to work on client messages for 15 minutes, and then I'm going to check my phone. Or if you're studying, I'm going to study for 15 minutes, and then when the timer goes off, I'm going to stretch, right? I'm going to get a drink. I'm going to pick my nose. I'm going to take a dump. I'm going to get a snack, right? But I think it's essential that we have some discipline. So that is one form of discipline. I also keep a spreadsheet with my tasks, a simple spreadsheet with my tasks and a check mark for the next day. And that helps me focus on what I have to do instead of trying to remember what I have to do. Does that make sense? One thing I do as well is I keep WhatsApp up. Now, hear me out. I send messages to myself in WhatsApp of my to-do list or ideas I get for videos. So like right now, I'm going to send myself a message in WhatsApp, and it's going to be about Food volume. We just talked about food volume. I'm going to type that in, food volume. And we did reduce fats, lean proteins, and improve carbs. So I leave notes to myself on WhatsApp so I can go back and, reference things so I don't forget them. I write down everything important and send it to myself in WhatsApp so it never goes away. And we just had another donation. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. From Joel Hernandez. I want to thank you. Your video about not being able to bench 315. Your video about not being able to 315 bench helped inspire me, and it took me 2 years to do it. That's amazing. I want to say, and it's great to hear, my body weight's 175. That's an amazing story, and thank you for sharing that. I get all the time, that clip from that video. People use it on TikTok, as a negative thing. People use it on TikTok, as a negative thing. And the intention of that video was to help guys get there. It was to help people get to a 315-pound bench press. And basically the video said, most of you will never get to a 315-pound bench, but here's what we do. Here's ways to improve that. So I was trying to encourage people to get there. And on TikTok, it got turned into some random chaos about how no one under, a certain amount of weight will ever bench 315. And that's just silly. That's just silly. Where are we? Timothy, any tips on the mindset approaching a lift that I have been using sloppy form for? And as a numbers-oriented individual. I'm numbers-oriented as well, but you have to do so in the lane of proper form. We are in the lane of proper form. Then we chase numbers in that lane. If we go outside of the lane, we're basically wasting our training. So it's just not valid. It's simply not valid if you chase numbers outside of good form. It's not a good habit to stay in. And you have to basically re-rack, restack, move back, deload, unload, and start moving back up if that's the case. Should you reduce the training volume when cutting? The first thing you should do is stop pushing for PRs. Hear me out here. Hear me out. Don't get excited. If you're on a short-term cut, there's two types of cuts. So let's establish that. Number one, you have a short-term mini cut. We're going to lose 10, 15 pounds, maybe even 20 pounds, just 10 to 15. Then you have I'm overweight and I need to lose some weight cut. So the overweight, I need to lose some weight cut. You guys can just kind of train normally, okay? The other guys, you kind of want to just use the cut as a desensitization period where you're not over pushing for PRs. A general rule is if you're doing a set and you're able to easily grab the next rep, then take it. Okay, you're doing 35-pound dumbbell curls. Okay, you get to rep 8, easy. I know I can get rep 9. That would be a PR because that was pretty easy. Take it. I know I can get to 10. That was pretty easy. Take it. Steal the easy PRs on a cut, but don't set yourself up to grind for a PR on a cut. Save that mojo on a mini cut for a bulking period. Does that make sense? Like the guys that have to grind 50, 70, 80, 100 pounds of weight loss, you guys pretty much should just be grinding safely what you can because you got a long road ahead. Does that make sense? Carlton, a client of mine. Carlton's a truck driver that trains out of his truck. If any of you are curious and have any questions, you were asking about him. Carlton's checking in before his workout, make it count. Your thoughts on one top set and one back off set? That's fine. You just have to have a progression approach in place. That is a good possible tool. You can use it on some exercises. You can use it on all exercises. That's fine. That's my threes protocol is a top set and 2 back down sets. So basically a twos, you could use a twos. That's fine. Just don't turn it into a rule, like I must do this on everything. Just allow yourself some flexibility and some fun to play, but that's a perfectly valid approach. Big Sam Wall, my upper middle back between the shoulder blades is my least developed area. I find it hard to squeeze there consistently. Don't worry about that as much as just doing shoulder drive on your big exercises. I feel like I just pinch. Focus on shoulder drive rather than pinching or squeezing. That's my first tip. Okay. You want to have a good exercise selection. Dumbbell rows, barbell rows, T-bar rows, seated cable rows, lat pull downs, pull-ups, chin-ups, machine rows, chest-supported rows. You want to have a good exercise selection, whatever that is. Don't obsess about this. If you have a good mix of exercises and you are focusing on driving the shoulder and elbow back to move the weight, and you're progressively overloading, it will come up over time. Arut, happy Friday. Thanks for joining in. Deep voice one. After the meat and potato lifts, what's your favorite machine movement and why? Probably seated cable rows is at the top of the old list of Ruski. I like seated cable rows. And what else do I like? Machine. I have a leverage squat. Love the leverage squat, man. That is a brilliant leverage squats, pendulum squats. Brilliant piece of equipment. I think they're better than hack squats and leg presses. I do. And if I ruled the world, like you would do squats and then you do a leverage pendulum squat. And then we worry about maybe some volume on leg presses or hacks. Big Sam Wall, as a note to question above, it feels like the terrace and rear delt push the shoulder blades. Don't overthink it, Sam. The best thing you can do is get a good quality selection of back exercises. Use your VersaGrip Pros. Get strong on them. You'll be good to go. Big Haru, what's your recommendation for rest time between drop sets or supersets? As close to, there's going to be some rest, but we're not resting. We're moving from station to station. So when I move from station to station, number one, I have to take a big deep breath and shake all the cooties out, right? And that's going to take a second, right? So the first thing I do, I set the dumbbells down or whatever, take a big breath, shake out the cooties, grab the next, and go. That's what I do. I always have to shake your head and shake out the cooties, take a big breath part, but then it's grab and go. Roni, what are your thoughts on drop sets? Are they better? No, not better. They're a tool. Enough better is progressive overload, consistency, and good nutrition. That's better, and a reasonable exercise selection. Drop sets are generally an okay tool to do on the last set of an exercise. So you're doing like lat pull downs. Do a couple regular sets, and then on the last set, you can do some drop sets, or you can even run the stack down or whatever. You don't want to make tools the meat and potatoes generally, so you can definitely use them, but they can be a kind of a coup de grace, right? A final smashing of the old exercise. A smashing of the old exercise let's do some hygiene. There can be a smashing of the exercise at the end. This is my pit bull, which I absolutely love. I haven't done this all week, and I just noticed I'm getting a little bit hairy. So thoughts on wearing a belt for a lift like hack squats? You can wear a belt for anything you want, really. I'm not a belt guy. I just find it annoying to get on and get off, and I don't like bracing against the belt. I like bracing against my core. There's no right or wrong. It wasn't sure if you find it helps, then wear it. That's as simple as it gets. Big Mickey Chan, listening to Big Hairy Ugly Dude while playing Diablo 4. Man, you got the good life. I think Diablo 4 is on PlayStation 4, but do they have all the upsells? Although you got to buy this, buy that. Is it kind of that game? I don't know. Big Barry Wong, what do you think of the belt squat? it can be a good tool. I think it's a lift that I like to push for a little bit slightly higher reps. I think it's a lift I want to focus on quad feel as much as possible. So it's a fine lift. Big Timothy Lim. Thoughts on doing partials at the end of an isolation lift? Curls, reverse flies. Yeah, you can do something like that. What Timothy's talking about is kind of a cheaty coup de grace, a little bit of limited range of motion. Like if you're doing a curl and you kind of hit that point where you can't do anymore, you can kind of cheat a little bit to get a little bit of, as long as it's smart and not punishing. So let's say you're doing a lateral raise and you can't, you hit that zone where you can't do quality reps. Can you start to kind of do a little bit of jerky partials? I know I look silly, but yeah, you can absolutely do that as long as I don't count those reps. I might do 12 plus 3 to let me know how many cheaty reps I did just from, mental poipuses, right? Poipuses. But you can do anything like that, partials, cheaties, English reps, as long as it makes sense and you're not beating yourself up. But the way I track them, Timothy, is I'll be like, let's say I did 12 lateral raises or 12 reverse flies. And then I couldn't get quality reps, but I could get kind of 5 micro cheaty half reps. I'd put like 12 plus 5, something like that. Johnny Oxwell. Happy Friday, big hairy ugly dude. I have knee pain while squatting. That's not good. What do you recommend? Hiring me as a coach or getting on Team Massive Iron? You need to get on Team Mass. I did the old switcheroo trick. TeamMassiveIron.com. Come on over. You can have me work on your squat every week. That's what I recommend. You need to have somebody look at your squat. And me, Jesus, any other powerlifting coach, I don't care. Right. But if you are having issues on your squat, you need to have somebody look at it that knows what the heck they're talking about. A1, that's your number one. Don't assume your squat is nailed on because I can make random recommendations, but the truth is we need to look at your squat to see if something's jacked up. Warming up with extensions, doing Pilates, doing flutter kicks, eating a protein shake. None of that stuff is going to make a difference, really, because knee pain is usually form driven, like a very high percentage of the time, if it's not something medically is going on. So I'll just leave it at that. Big John Paul. Currently bulking, and my chin-ups to failure is only at 5. That's not unusual. We're using bands. Yeah, man, use bands. Use bands on chin-ups, pull-ups. Those are a much better choice, in my opinion, than the assisted machines. Absolutely, man. Do it 100%. Big Timothy, considering switching my split programming, and I believe Timothy plays basketball. What should I got an itchy nose. Does that mean I'm going to kiss a fool? I don't know. Check the rule book. But should I wait till the end of my upcoming basketball season? If you're going to change programs and you really want it to be a good hypertrophy period, I would probably wait. You can change now to get the feel. Just be reasonable and don't overpush until you feel ready to run. All right, Big Bob Fish, why do you not like seated barbell press when you use the more traditional unrack from above? I don't unrack from above. I've never done that. Why do you not like seated barbell presses when you use the more traditional unrack from above? Or are you saying, why don't I like the unrack from above? I wouldn't call that traditional. In fact, I think that's not the norm. I think it's unstable and it's dangerous. It simply is. You got to unrack and balance right from the start. It's not a good position to start with. No, it's not. It's not. Starting here in a safer position. It's just safer. I haven't been that comfortable off the pins. You just got to find the groove, man. I mean, I'm not telling you guys what to do. You can do whatever you want. One man's, one man's buffet is another man's treasure dump. So, whatever. But in general, for most of us, it's safer starting here. Whether you unrack in a standing press, like a standing press, I'm not going to get under it and unrack here. It's just too dangerous. Big Doc, home gym or commercial gym for best results? Best results is a big ass home gym. Just look, you in it for the long run. My best advice: don't get married, don't have kids, don't get a dog. Right? Get like if I here listen to me before you get all upset. But like if I were to do it all again, I would have saved all my money, got myself financially stable as a young gun, and I would have bought me a house. I would have bought me a house with a basement where I can put in a gym, and I would have started accumulating stuff, and I would have put in a home gym that I really want. Because like commercial gyms, a commercial gym has more tools. If you're going to do the home gym, you need to have reasonable tools, right? Like dumbbells get super expensive. You can, even if you get the adjustable ones or the, whatever, those are probably your most expensive investment, but you need those for a home gym. How you go about it's up to you. But you're going to end up spending $5,000 on a decent home gym. And probably if you really want a good home gym, 10 grand. Is that a lot of money? Yeah, it's a lot of money, but what are you paying in a gym membership? A gym membership is going to be a little bit cheaper, obviously, but over the long run, I don't know. It might be about the same. The difference is time is money. So when we're factoring in, whether to get a home gym, time is money. And driving to a gym, is can be 40, 50, 60 minutes out of your day. That adds up over time, and would I advise spending a little bit more on a quality home gym just to have the convenience and not to have 22 dicks swinging around in the dumbbell room, doing all the circus act stuff and everybody doing their front delt raises. Look at the front delt raise. I just bench pressed and I just did a single and bounced it off my chest. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a home gym guy. I like good commercial gyms. I like to go to commercial gyms that are more old school feel, but man, there's just too many people and fighting for equipment, and it drags out. And some people want to yuck at you. And Mickey, do tall people generally have easier posterior muscle? No, I wouldn't say that, man. Taller people are gonna be elongated in general, and I don't think they're going to have easier posterior muscle development. Not at all. I think, posterior, I guess it depends on what we're looking at. Posterior movements, like posterior heavy movements like squat and deads, or are we just talking about development of hips and hamstrings and back's going to be neutral, regardless of who you are, right? But if we're talking movements, the advantage is probably going to be on the normal or slightly shorter range. Big Barbell Bryce, do you think a body part split is a good idea yes, a body part split's a good idea for an intermediate lifter, absolutely. Or slightly less frequency, more viable. I don't think the right word here is viable, and I'm not coming at you there, Bryce. I'm just saying a split is not something you should entertain if you can't lift 4 times a week. If you can't commit to 4 times solid a week, you shouldn't even ever consider a split. Because like an upper lower, you can kind of insert an extra rest day, and then you just continue to rotate on to the next workout, and it's a little bit more forgiving. But a body part's going to need you to, lift 4 days a week. So it doesn't matter, go with preference. But neither one's going to give you better results. I don't care who says what. It's nonsense. Happy Friday. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Haru, what do you think about having a gym rival as motivation? Um, Whatever floats the boat. I'm not against it. Like when I go to the YMCA with my wife and I see Jimmy Dickhead, like doing happy squaffy squatty waddies, do I want to is there a part of me that that male inner drive to be the King Kong of the jungle? Yeah, you get a little bit. It's okay to use that to motivate you. I don't think it's inherently a bad thing. We can be like, don't compare yourself to, that's great. Don't compare yourself to other people. But man, I'm not, you think I'm going to sit here and lie and say I don't see other people and I want to beat them? That's just a competitive, that's just part of who we are. That's only a bad thing if if the application is bad, right? So use whatever motivation you need to use. Big Macs. I rarely have caffeine, no energy drinks, coffee, and have decent workouts. Had a half scoop the other day and had a great workout. I would half scoop it and just test it out. Like, we are over caffeinated to begin with as a society. So I think, Max, you're in a good position because you're under caffeinated. And using a half scoop probably is going to give you a bump compared to like me, who's got like energy drink, an energy drink, an energy drink. No, I only have two over here. I'm just kidding. But like you're probably going to feel a bump more than us. So I think you're on a better track than most of us. David, at what point does changing programs become a mental illness? It's a mental illness when you constantly can't focus enough on your programming to actually put in the hard work. When you're constantly changing that one over the fence. Like, I like programming's my life. I love programming. But if you're unable to dig in for 3 or 4 months and grind a program and wait for the next one, then you got a problem. I wouldn't call it a mental illness, but you have a problem. I have people that work with me that just start randomly doing different programs while I'm coaching them. And it's extremely frustrating. Especially when you're with a coach, hey, coach, today I just decided to fuck off and do whatever the fuck I wanted, right? You're like, hey, I'm trying to get you on the track so we can see progress. I will say that the first thing we need to understand is that programs contain basically the same damn exercises, right? You're going to be doing the same damn exercise over the course of your life. So, changing is like changing flavors of an energy drink. It's still an energy drink. At some point, you got to be able to dig in. And like, if people get to the point, like I get this once a week from somebody, I'm bored, with hypertrophy. Excuse my language, but I got fuck all for you. I mean, hypertrophy is punch the clock, punch the clock, punch the clock, punch the clock. If you want song and dance, if you want dancing clowns juggling flaming chainsaws and like, hypertrophy isn't like picking out what you want for lunch. I need something new and exciting for lunch today. Like that's where people get into the problem from a nutritional standpoint. They eat. There's nothing wrong with liking what you eat, but they constantly need a new stimulus. They're like on stimulus overload. And if your programming is like that, you got a problem. Like you just do. You got a problem if you need to constantly change. When somebody tells me they're bored with I don't have anything for you. I don't. Go take up something other. It's like saying I'm bored with brushing my teeth. That's great. Let your teeth rot. I'm bored with hypertrophy. I'm sorry. You got a choice. Punch the clock or look like shit. There you have it. Punch the clock, look like shit. Punch the clock, look like shit. Those are your two options, because hypertrophy doesn't exist to entertain you, right? It is a tool that exists to help you go from point A to point B. Obviously, this does not mean you can't enjoy your exercises and have a few fun variations in there you like. Of course you can. But a wholesale dis you know dis dismission being dismissive about your entire program, like, I'm bored, I don't know, go do something else. You know what? Once you go tell your wife or your girlfriend, like, I'm bored, like, go clean your room, dumbass, right? That's what I used to say to my kids. I'm bored. You got every damn toy, every damn game, and you got a backyard of nature with the swing set and the thing and the thing and the water trampoline, and you're bored? Not my problem. Not my problem. Not my problem. If you're bored, you need to. I'm bored brushing my teeth. I'm bored eating good, eating clean. I need stimulus, right? Like, no, you don't. You need to suck it up. There are certain things in life we need to do to take care of ourselves. There are certain things in life we need to do to take care of ourselves, right? If you're building a bridge and there's a certain method, or you're designing a home and there's certain requirements, you can't go, I'm bored using these requirements. Well, I'm sorry, but your bridge is going to collapse. It's the same with hypertrophy. I'm bored, right? Well, I'm sorry, but your choices are either do what it takes to look good or look like shit. I'm not going to make, so I'm not saying you're there, David. I'm just saying in general, when somebody says they're bored to me, like, go clean your room, right? But if you're going to be changing programs, if somebody's changing programs and they're unable to get in solid 3, 4, 5 month blocks of training, you probably need some other form of physical activity in your life that satisfies that ability to vary things up a bit. Big Bob Ship, how's it going? What's up, Bob? Big Bob V, back-to-back Bobs. What is your opinion on training the same muscle group in both the morning? Weekly volume is the key. So this can be done. You could do like the big hitter in the morning, like bench, because sometimes bench and squat and deads can take a long time, right? So you could maybe do the big hitter in the morning and come back and do the rest of it in the evening. It's all right. There's no downside if applied properly. Big Max Smith, my top three fitness myths that need to die. Max coming with a strong question. Max, I'm going to give you a t-shirt, hoodie, or whey protein. You're the winner today. And I thank everybody for their questions. It's always hard to pick a winner, but I always try to pick somebody new every week. Max, hit me up on Instagram at Ben the Barman in DM. I will give you a free hoodie, t-shirt, or whey protein. And my whey protein is good. It's not crap. It's lower calorie and it tastes great. So you're not going to get any wasted calories. No 150 calories per scoop. And I only make like $5 off of whey protein, Max. You get it for free. I'm not trying to be a supplement company. But if you guys want to support the little guy instead of your big guy, check out superlivingtoday.com. Check out the subs tab. I got creatine and whey protein. You put $5 in my pocket and you get good quality products and you don't feed the machine. So help an independent creator. All right. Top 3 fitness myths that need to die. Help an independent creator if you want. Top 3 fitness myths that need to die. There's so many. Where do you even begin? Man, I run into them every day. In lifting, what are some big ones? Well, we hit one earlier that you need to frequently change exercises, right? That the body's going to adapt to an exercise. Nonsense, just silliness. That's a silly one. I think one of the biggest ones right now is that training split actually matters at all. It doesn't. People are like holding on to that like desperately. Right? No body part splits. I'm not telling you to do a body part split. Most of my clients do upper posteriors or push-pull legs. I'd say 10%. Some do body part splits and some even do full body. But the cult that has formed over in hypertrophy over splits is just really ridiculous. It's ridiculous, like it matters at all. You guys know this stuff doesn't matter, right? You know that if you train hard and you have a good exercise selection and you have quality nutrition, right? And you're controlling the weight, and you're working hard. You know it doesn't matter how frequently. I train a muscle every 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. It doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter. It's personal preference. And I'm not telling you guys to do a split, do whatever program you want, but it needs to die. We even have science that backed this up at the start of last year, and even a lot of the big name coaches, science guys will echo the same thing. Yet, and what's a big one in the lifting industry? It is to build strength. We only need to do the same 5 exercises for low reps. Guys that come to me for strength, I put them on off-season programs. And my goodness, you think half of them were going to shit their trousers. Like, I want to do a strength program. Well, this is a strength program. I got news for you. We know scientifically, we know analytically, we know from looking at the data, this is a real thing. It's been studied to a minimum but reasonable degree that the strongest power lifters are also the biggest power lifters, almost to a man. Muscle is the platform for strength. Sounds common sensey, doesn't it? Like Joe skinny guy, Joe chronic masturbator, skinny guy at the gym. Not saying all skinny guys are chronic masturbators, but you know that guy. You know, the guy at the gym who's like, ah, right? You know, the guy looks like he can sneeze and like he just splat against the wall. Like, that guy isn't going to stay looking like he does and all of a sudden squat 700 pounds. So you need to build a muscle base. And this belief that a strength program is like low reps and never involves, most of your training should be off-season training. That needs to die. Big Dr. AJ, how's it going? Good morning and happy Friday. Josh, returning to the gum after 3 weeks of craziness. Josh has been away from gum for 3 weeks. I'm thinking, sorry, Josh, couldn't resist. I'm thinking of full body, 2 sets per major muscle group. Of course, pick up volume next week. Yeah, that's fine. Just go moderate and listen to your body. You'll be good to go. Big Bob Ship. How hard is it for an obese person to get in shape? Well, the big question, Bob, is getting them to do the lifestyle change so they can get in shape. It's pretty easy to get in shape. And it starts slow. And then before you know it, you know, you're moving pretty rapidly. I was a lifter for a long time, but I had gotten away from a lot of cardio. So I started hiking. And I think hiking is one of the best ways to improve your conditioning because of all the variances in terrain and uphill, downhill, etc. But the first time I ran, I could only run like 2 miles, and I thought I was going to die. But I've run 50 Ks now, you know, so it's just a matter of consistency and lifestyle change. If you're talking in a general sense, Bob, like the average person you see walking, like somebody walks by on the street, I don't care if they're 20, I don't care if they're 70, 60, they're overweight. They're more than 50, 75 pounds overweight. You just look at them, they look overweight. Them to do a lifestyle change, it's like a conversion to a religion. There really just needs to be a moment where they are sick of their own, you know, crap pile. And It can't be like, I'm going to do a diet and then go back to when does the diet end so I can go back to eating normal, right? You get that a lot from folks. You can't go back to eating normal. Normal is not normal. Normal is killing you. That's not normal. It's not normal to do things that's killing you, like an alcoholic who finds out they have all kinds of bad things going on with their organs. When can I go back to drinking and a normal lifestyle? Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but drinking was killing you. And if you consider suicidal, I don't even like to say that word on YouTube because it'll probably flag me. If you consider those types of things to be normal, and let's be real here, let's not pull any punches. If you're eating fast food all the time or junk food, you are harming yourself. But it's okay because it's food and food is sustenance. Alcohol has calories as well. And if you want to go that route to the ridiculous, it's not like you don't have options. It's not like you only have access to Burger King and French fries and ketchup, right? So that's not a valid excuse. Like a burger, beef burger is a great choice. You can go to a restaurant and just get a beef burger. Toss a bun. Tell them you don't want a bun. Tell them you just want patties. Okay? You think they aren't going to give it to you? They're going to give you whatever you want. Like, you can do that, right? You don't have to get fries. You don't have to get ketchup. You don't have to get deep fried onion rings. You don't have to get a fat Coke with all kinds of sugar. So the people that are, that like use its substance, as an excuse to hurt themselves with food, I'm going to tell you something. You are completely full of shit. You need to go over the mirror, look in the mirror and say, I am 100% full of shit. You know what aggravates me? You want to know what aggravates me? I'm just being real here. And I don't want to piss anybody off. Well, I'm just being real. And I hope you guys can take this. People that know fast food is bad for them, like they know they're relying on it too much. They know it. They admit it. Maybe they even come to me for help. But they will not take fucking 10 minutes out of their day to even try to think of a better way. They just continue, I know it, and then they continue to order it. Like, they don't even make an attempt to get something better from the fast food menu. That's how lazy they are. That's how uncaring they are. Like, these people need to wake up. You can go to Burger King right now and get an extra large fry and a sugar Coke. Deep fried crap, sugar crap. Or you can go there and just say, I want burger patties and cheese. I think we all know beef and cheese is light years ahead of French fries and a sugar Coke. It's not that fast food is the devil. They are making it the devil. And what angers me, yes, angers, is lazy fucking people that won't even attempt to make one, like, I'm just going to do fast food today. So they immediately go for the shit worst choice. Like, you do not, it's good, better, best. You do not have to go. If I'm going to go to Burger King, I don't get fucking French fries. I'm not holier now. But you have to put some rules in the place. I don't get sugar Cokes. Right? Come on, folks. Sugar tea. As a treat a couple times a year, it's okay. We all know that. It's reasonable. But for the love of God, you're going to break and you're just, every meal is going to be, I got to get French fries and sugar Cokes. Like, come on. Make a better decision. Get your head out of your ass. Let's get moving forward in a positive direction. Start thinking for one fucking second out of your life to take care of yourself. The food choices, come on. Wake up. I mean, wake up, people. Stop being so fucking lazy. You're just destroying your health, and you just can't stop. I got news for you. You have a fucking problem. You have a fucking problem. This is your intervention. You have a fucking problem. Stop getting fucking sugar cokes. Stop getting deep fried fucking trash french fries with gallons of fucking ketchup. Newsflash, you can make a better decision. Newsflash, you are being a lazy fucking son of a bitch. Someone needs to tell you. You are being a lazy son of a bitch. Like, you know. What's worse is the people that know, that come for help, that DM me. What issues are you having with food? I eat too much fast food. They know it. Yet, I tell them, we just got a plan. We got a plan. I want you to make a food swap. I want you to try to make something. Don't tell me they don't know any better. They're coming to me for help. They admit it. They know better. They came to me for help. But when you tell them you got to take 5 minutes out of your day and let's analyze what you eat and let's try to make a better choice. Just try to make a better choice. Better choice. Stop getting a fucking sugar Coke. You can criticize me all you want for drinking these, but I'll tell you what, it's good, better, best, right? 5 calories versus 200. What world are you going to live in? Self-harm? You know how you're going to go out? You're going to go out in flames. You're going to end up getting cancer, osteoarthritis. You're going to have broke dick joints, can't see your peener anymore, erectile dysfunction. You're going to ache. You're going to feel like crap. Your gut hurts all the time. I said I was going to tell you what angered me, what upsets me. It's people that know better and they still remain so fucking lazy that they can't make a better choice. Wake up. Spend 5 minutes this weekend going, when I go to Burger King, what can I get that's better? All right. I guess that's the rant for the day. Blaine, good morning and thanks for awesome content. Thank you. How much does foot width and all this minutia play in overall leg development? Nothing. It's not going to matter at all when you factor in form and, everything else. It's going to have, I have big, like my feet are wide and they just look like big giant cinder blocks. It's true because I actually wear 11 to 12, size 11 to 12 shoes, but my foot looks so wide, it doesn't make it look as long. My foot looks like Thor's hammer. It does. It's like, so it really doesn't matter at all. All right, guys, we're about an hour and 9 minutes in. Thank you for enduring the rant, but I do get sick of it. I do get sick. I can't, I'm sick because I care, folks. I care. This is what I say, this rant that I just did on food. These are things I say to myself. I'm not picking on you. I'm not sitting on a holy mountain. Anything I say on this channel, I say to myself first. These are things I say to myself every day. Make a better fucking choice, right? These are things I say to myself. And I'm passionate about this stuff because I want the best for each of you. Because I know there's a better way. Man, I nearly killed myself with food. I was depressed. It was not easy. But I went from that guy that nearly killed himself to having just this amazing body transformation, this amazing mental transformation, and being able to run for 12 hours straight. Do you know how emotional that is for me? Like, I'm not going to lie. There are times I'm out there 6 hours into a run, And I feel like I can't believe I'm here. I'm so blessed. This is such an amazing gift. This is what I want to give to everybody. It's not just about building muscle. It's not just about eating better food. It is about massive living, just how fucking awesome it feels compared to not doing it. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to look like Jay Cutler or Ronnie Coleman. We don't have to be as strong as the power lifters you see. That's not it at all, guys. That's not it at all. That's not it. It's all about being the best you can and fully living and just attacking life. This is emotional stuff for me because it nearly killed me. And man, when I went out to run my first trail marathon, and I realized I was going to be able to, like, I'm on lap 4. I'm like, I can do this. I'm going to be able to do it. I was so emotional. I was just like tearing up like every mile. Like, this was one of the most amazing things that ever happened to me. I was on this impossible trail, just impossible, just up and down and heat and rocks and all kinds of complex puzzles and things to deal with on this advanced trail. And I'm doing a marathon, a trail marathon. And 5 years earlier, I was so fat and out of shape, I couldn't walk to the mailbox. And I hid behind this beard. And I was so depressed. I hated my life. And I thought my life was over. All right, guys, before we continue on, just a reminder, if you need coaching, check out the coaching tab. You can go over to superlivingtoday.com, check out the coaching tab. I'm as passionate about my clients as I am about this, and I will give you everything I can. And if you can't afford coaching, please join teammassiveiron.com. Sam, would you say that having a large bench press arc is no, not at all. You don't need any arcs. You don't need any foot drive. I would say it's more of a distraction. It's not needed, and most of us really should not worry about it at all. Massive mammals. We don't lift. We lived. Right. Big Bob Ship. Yahoo. Time for Guru. Time for Guru. Thank you. I get easily confused, Bob. The legend of Mr. D. Hello and good morning. Thanks for joining in. LB King, based on your experience in the military, what do you think are the biggest bang for your buck exercises for an infantier? Probably hiking because of the general conditioning. And then you can start, run. You got a little backpack on your back, not a lot of weight. Then you can start running a little bit. And then like upper posterior, torso, limbs with a little bit of body weight stuff in the mix. That's a really good bang for your buck. Big Vince Jackson. I know you're not a fan of full body. No, that's not true at all. I personally don't like them because they take too much time. But for other people, I don't care what you do. But what about a push full body, pull full body? Yeah, they're fine. Vince, I'm not against a full body. I'm not. Back in the day, 15 years ago, I was elevating the benefits of a full body, like they're viable in a body part split world. I am not against anything. I personally don't like to do them because they take too long for me, but I don't care how anybody trains. MJJK, I'm just Mr. Massive World and we're living on his shoulder. Oh my God, home buying paperwork sucks. Yeah, man, like we're just going through the nightmare of trying to find. You want me to be real here? Like I'm just trying to find a real estate agent that is like during the pandemic. I think what I heard is a lot of people got their real estate license. So we developed a lot of. The market was good. It was easier to sell. You had a lot of new real estate agents, and now that the market is tightening up. Finding an agent that's as aggressive as I am, like I'm super aggressive on everything. Let's get it over with. Let's get it sold today. What do we have to do? You go that way. You go that way. Let's call this play. Let's do this, right? So that's just the way I am. LB King, what do you think about doing pull-ups every day? I don't like every day because I I'm a little bit nervous about overuse injuries. So every other day I think is good. And you can do kind of block sets. I have a little PDF at superlivingtoday.com about body weight pull-ups and push-ups if you're interested. Micah, morning. What do you think of 5-pound bulks? They're too short, man. Like it's way too short. Like you're gonna do a 5-pound bulk over a 3-4 month period of time. It's way too conservative. There's no benefit. Just do a 10-pound bulk. A 5-pound bulk's just gonna slow things down. And you're still going to have to wait till you do 2 to 3 pounds of water weight when you do the calorie change. Not a fan at all. I think I don't know about your case, Micah, but I would say it tends to be rooted in paranoia of getting fat. If you can't gain 10 pounds and lose 10 pounds, you're not, I would say, my opinion, you're not fully committed to the lifting process. Big John Muir. Hi from the UK, training chest and shoulders together once per week. Yep, absolutely. I used to do chest and shoulders in the same workout. It was a brutal session, but I didn't have the internet telling me not to do it, so I did it. I would do bench 1 week or incline bench. That was my leading. The next, I would do dumbbell or incline dumbbell bench. So I would start with those two. Then I would go to dumbbell overhead press. And sometimes I'd do seated. So I would have at least 3 to 4 big hitters in the mix for shoulders and chest. Big Crow. How do you get bigger legs with scoliosis? You just have to find exercises you can do that are more forgiving. So there's a lot of good exercises you can do out there for legs. Lunges, you can do Bulgarian split squats. And I don't know how hack squats, pendulum squats, leverage squats, or leg presses or hack squats, whatever I just said, work for you. Leg extensions, but I would try to find a few that work for you and see what you can do. Big Sam, how often do you rotate your key lifts? Never. I don't rotate lifts. Don't rotate it. I use the lifts I like and I run with them. Occasionally I'll try something different, but that's just for trying it. Can I do deadlift 3s protocol, but with 5 on top set? 17 seems really tough. If 7 reps seems tough, you probably need to work on your work capacity a little bit. If you do 5, you're going to have to work to 7 before you progress. That's the way 3s works. You can progress on 5, but you're getting a little bit low on that. You're pushing sets really hard in the 3, 4, 5 rep range. That's getting too low, in my opinion. No. On deadlifts, we want to avoid training above maybe 87.5% as our meat and potatoes. And if you're doing max safe reps and you're hanging around 3 to 4 of your 1 rep max, let me get this. Let me get the exact numbers for you from a 1 rep max calculator. So let's say your deadlift is 300, 1 rep max, just for example. A 3 rep is 92.5% of your max. 4 rep is 90, and 5 is 87.5. So if you progress on deadlifts 3s when you hit 5, your top set's always between 87.5 and even 95% of your 1 rep max. That's a no-no. I do not advocate training that heavy on the deadlift, especially combining that with pushing for max safe reps. All right, let me get a drink here. Yabba dabba do. All right. Where are we? Can you list your warm-up routine? I did. I made a video about it. Did I make a video about it? Or is that just something I put on YouTube or on Instagram? I can't remember. I make a lot of Instagram content. And I put out a chart on my warm-up protocol. Yeah, it's called How to Warm Up Properly. 2 weeks ago, how to warm up properly for the big compound lifts. That's what I do. I only do warm-up sets. If you need to bring your body temperature up by doing 5 minutes of mild cardio, go ahead. I don't do prehab, rehab, foam rolling, stretching, yoga, anything else. I lift. That's all I want to do is lift. Never hurt me. So I put my warm-up set protocol in a video recently, so check that out. Regarding the threes protocol, when doing back downs, it doesn't have to be exactly 10%, but you want enough of a step or reasonable. I don't care. There are no rules in training as long as it's reasonable. Rolling elbow position doesn't matter at all in the long term. You want to row naturally, like whatever dumbbell row, barbell row, seated cable row. It's natural. When you force it, that's when you get extra shoulder pressure. Ryan, I like lying bicep curls on a row machine. That's fine. You lay down on a row and you curl in. As long as that cable isn't like rubbing on your old kabuski, your love snake, you're good to go. Sorry to be crude, but you just got to watch the cable splitting the difference, right? Got to watch the cable so it's not splitting the goalposts, right? Your potatoes. You don't really want. Make sure as long as that cable isn't smacking your balls. Let's just put it out there. You're good to go. A difference between reverse hyper and normal hyperextension. You have to go. Do you have to do them in a long term? I don't. You don't have to do reverse hypers or hyperextensions or all these. This powerlifting stuff out there where a lot of these guys are relying on these. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that at all. Just average dudes, you don't have to do this. If you're in it for powerlifting and you want to play around with these, go ahead. Big clue, if you have been fat once, will it make it harder to get and stay shredded? Well, it depends. You might have some loose skin. Your fat cells don't disappear. They just, for all intents and purposes, just to put it overly simplistic, they deflate. They deactivate to a degree that you still have loose skin, stretched skin, and extra fat cells that are not currently active or being fully utilized. But if you lose 120 pounds, you're going to have some loose skin. So it's not going to make you look as lean, but it's not going to prevent you from being shredded. Does that make sense? Fat Chick in a Barn, please follow her channel. Good morning. Happy St. Patty's Day. She's a client of mine. I'm thankful to be able to help her or work with her. Hasina, did I say that right? Hasina Fall. Happy Friday. What do you recommend for stubborn legs? Hack squats, leg extensions. You can do volume leg extensions. Volume leg extensions and volume leg press, hack squat, pendulum squat, leverage squat, Bulgarian split squats, lunges, reverse lunges, all really good choices. So if you guys ever need, like on YouTube Live, I have to kind of, move on with questions. So if I ever don't answer it fully and you need more help, guys, just hit me up and I will give you some more advice. You can come over to Instagram up in the Barman. Big Tron, thanks for all the great tips on fitness. I made it from nice work. That's impressive. Congratulations. Ryan, potatoes. I forgot what we were talking about, Ryan. Can you do bulldozer program you can do anything for a long time? There's no need to change programs. There's no need to change exercises. There's no need to change anything. None of this stuff is important. Important is consistency, progression, a good exercise selection, and consistent nutrition. Lean potatoes, lean beef, eggs, protein powder. I know what we're talking about. How much calf gains are you missing if you only do, well, you're probably missing a lot of calf gains. I mean, if somebody was working their calves hard, they're going to gain a couple inches. Yes, I believe that even for the stubborn guys. So, but calves are like abs. Do you want to work them? Do you have the time? Do you have the energy? How big do you want big calves? How would you program rest pause style training? Have twice a week frequency? I got plenty of information on that, Tolga, on any of my rest pause programs. I have sample workouts. So I did workouts where I built an upper posterior live, and you can build in bulldozer rest pause training for any exercise you want. Maybe you want to do it on machine shoulder press or side laterals. So it really depends on what rest pause style you're doing and what your workout looks like. What do you think about 1.5 reps on small? Yeah, if you want to do that, go ahead. I have a client that I just dumped that on his plate. Absolutely, you can do that if it makes sense. Ryan, progression, pretty much it. Yep, along with control and good nutrition. Big Jason, I've heard that if you lose 50 pounds, you're at risk of getting loose skin. Well, I've never seen anybody lose 50 pounds and have any real loose skin. I would say once you get about 75, more around 100, I see it commonly. So I've never personally seen anybody do a 50-pound weight loss and see loose skin. It's all going to depend on how big your belly gets. It's not about the weight. It's about where you're storing it and how big that area has to expand to accommodate it. Let's see. People say that fruit juice is just sugar water. Indeed, due to the lack of fiber. No, I would not do fruit juice at all. When you eat a piece of fruit, you are digesting the whole thing. It takes time for your body to work to digest and unlock the sugars that are in a piece of fruit. So it's more slow release than just drinking straight sugar water. So I don't believe that's best for the body. No. Big Eric, beard of redness. I'm late, but here. Think it's BS. I get a Rogue Fitness app to get on this video. Should be a massive fitness. Yeah, you have to get a Rogue app to watch YouTube. I'm sorry about that. Morning, Steve. What 10 rep max on the seated overhead press will translate? Let me check. I want to look specifically and see what the calculator says. So if you want a 225 on any lift, 10 reps would be about 168.8, give or take. What's the perfect grip width spot for bench? What's too wide? Well, you want to generally start with pinkies on the smooth little ring, okay? And I use middle fingers on the ring. You can move it, depending on your limb lengths and leverages, you can move it a little bit from pinkies on ring. There's no such thing as too wide as long as it feels comfortable for you. Too narrow and you're just turning it into a close. A lot of guys will turn a regular bench into a close grip bench. So I would start with pinkies on ring and maybe move it in and no more than an inch inside of that. The difference between a close grip and a regular bench is this width here, usually. So if you're doing a regular bench and you want to know where to pull it in, you pull it in a palm's width for starting. Why there is no tricep push-down pattern in your upper posterior? I have cable tricep extensions in a lot of workouts. So I have many, many workouts. Not sure which one you're looking at. No, meal timing does not matter. In a practical sense, you want to make sure you eat when it makes sense. Like it's a good idea to eat after you're done lifting because you're hungry and you don't want to go into a workout feeling flat and glycogen depleted, but it's not going to make or break hypertrophy gains. I have a mild irrational fear that due to increased access to gyms, it won't It won't be special. Oh, nah, that's irrational. You can have all the equipment you want and all the knowledge you want, but the top 1% get there with passion, and they're super rare. Yeah, I don't have TikTok, but I saw the original video. Roni, Fond du Lac means bottom of the lake or foot of the lake. Training quads and back together, too taxing. A lot of my clients do an upper posterior, so we might have to make adjustments. But if you can't adjust to it, you probably have a general conditioning issue rather than anything, and it's probably a good idea to work on it. Do deadlifts and rows work the entire forearm? They work a lot of the forearm. I've never had to work forearms, and everything as big as can be. So if you want to do extra forearm work, if you're a little bit afraid, you can definitely do wrist rollers or extra forearm work. But the whole body of gripping over the course of a week, not just 2 exercises, is generally going to give you all the forearm work you need. Big Sam, what row is best for thickness? I don't do the single row thing, Sam, and I'm not being dismissive, but it's a body of work is best for thickness, not one exercise. You need a good body of work, a good selection of exercises. That's the best. The muscles I feel the most on compounds grow less than the muscles I feel. It just depends on what's strong and weak for you. But that's why we look at the body as a whole. We put together 3, 4, 5 exercises for each area, and we attack, and there's going to be some overlap, some overlay. And that's going to make the body as big and as strong as it can be in a base standpoint. And from there, we can kind of adapt. But I can, my triceps get sore, but my chest grows. My hamstrings get sore on squats, but my quads grow. Don't worry about soreness. Don't worry about feel. Just worry about putting together a wise program, and everything generally grows. I know you say rest is needed, but if you rest 2 minutes 1 week, this is nonsense, Bryce. You're overthinking things. Lifting's about hard work, not about rest, right? You're going to feel different on every set week to week. You're hoping this matters. It does not matter. Like, who cares? If you have to go, squirt off some diarrhea in between a set on squats, strength is strength, right? If you're like rest, if you between the first set and the second set, to get back to full capacity, you're going to have to rest hours, not 1 extra minute, Bryce. So it doesn't matter at all. It does not. It doesn't. Who cares? It's about hard sets, right? Rest when you feel ready to go again. That's going to vary day to day, exercise per exercise, set by set. Do you recommend trap bar deads for novices? I think it's a very good place to start, and this is a good question. A very good place to start. I think a novice or beginner could benefit a lot from just doing trap bar deads instead of straight bar deads until they get that lower back up to speed. Running your hard gainer program, dealing with a low back injury. Tomorrow's deadlift day. Rest, skip 100%. Do not do deadlifts if your lower back is off at all. If you do warm-up sets, do maybe a deload if it's just mild. John Muir, hex bar on leg day. I don't really like that because it's not really a leg exercise. The deadlift, even the hex bar, is more of a unicorn. It's more of a very balanced overall exercise. So as long as you have your weekly volume in place, I don't really care. But doing that together with squats can really be difficult. Happy Friday, Big Hairy Ugly Dude and Massive Crew. Once you squat becomes natural enough at 135, you just slowly build back up, Bill. Bill's got to squat into a good place, but we need to slowly build up and make sure we're not We're not rushing it, and we're not going back to old bad habits. Slow, 5 pounds slow. Sounds bad, Bill, but in 12 weeks, you're up to 195. I would go super slow. I would. Craig, what's up, massive family? Thanks as always. Thank you for joining in. Big Bruce. Plus, if you have a home gym you can't sleep or get some random free time, you can go bust out some sets. Right. Sometimes you can, do split workouts, do a little bit here, a little bit there. And there's less excuses for time. Right. The whole time excuse. I know what it's like to sit here and I got to go get changed. I'm going to be real. I'm sitting here in jeans and a hoodie. If I want to go bust out some bench sets, I stay in my jeans, right? I do. I don't even change shoes. Sometimes I'm benching in jeans and cowboy boots, because I can, you go to a gym, you ain't gonna roll up there benching in jeans and cowboy boots, right? Cigars and handlebars, great name. I fell off a bit during COVID and just started getting back into a workout routine. I'm having a blast using sandbags and unconventional. Yep, they can give you a good workout, but what we always have to understand is there's a difference between a conditioning workout and a hypertrophy workout. So I love that you're doing any kind of work, but we always have to know there's a difference between a conditioning workout and a hypertrophy workout. How do you progress on your 100 upper lunge protocol? Slowly. I always used to do them at the end of the leg day. I didn't try to beat time. I just try to take them naturally and let time come to me. But if you want to start adding a 10-pound plate or a 25-pound plate or even a 45-pound plate, once you get to about a 45-pound plate, then you're in the territory where you have to ask yourself, do I want to start doing rest pause like safety squat bar lunges? Happy Friday. Turned 33. Congrats, man. You're going to lap me. You're only 12 years behind, but happy birthday. Alonzo at 6'2", 250, 15%. Do you need? No. At 250 pounds, you do not need 250. You need a minimum of 170, 180 is probably good minimum. This over obsession with I need this or I'm not going to grow is just bunk nonsense. You want balance. I mean, if you want to eat more, There's no downside. And you want balance, because sometimes choking down too many carbs can be annoying. What cigar are you celebrating St. Patrick's with? Big, hairy, ugly dude. I can't even reach my cigars, can I? Can I reach my cigars? Hold on, you bunch. Hold on, guys. I don't even know what I got in here. Do I got anything in here? Do I have anything in here? I got some cigars in here. What do we got? Should we look what I have? Let's see. What do we got in here? We got I don't know if you can see this. This is a Palma Real. I don't have a lot left, to be honest with you. That's the only one I got in here. I got stuff elsewhere. I have 3 cigar boxes, so that's all I got right there. I gotta check, man. I gotta check. I thought I had more in that one, but I have more in my other box. When will adjustable bench be back in stock? We're all out of stock, and that's going to be months for massive fitness equipment. Going to be months. So I apologize for that, but they sold out much faster than I expected. Fahim, what do you recommend to someone who has trouble doing bodyweight pull-ups? Bands would be a good start. Lat pull-downs are good, but they're not going to get you strong at pull-ups. And the pull-up machines really suck. I mean, they're good. They can be a good tool for building your lats and attacking your lats. But they suck for building a pull-up. So a banded pull-up, in my opinion, is the best option. My back keeps coming off the back pad when doing pendulum squats. I'd have to see it, but it's generally nothing to worry about. How's your foot position? Is your foot position too low? Too high? If you have a video, send it to me, Eric. But it's generally nothing to worry about as long as you're getting a good quad feel. What about the fitness myth that you need to confuse them? Yeah, like your muscles need to be confused. Right, that's a good one. I'm power shrugging 500 for 12. I find that sometimes, even though my glutes and core are braced, this can give me slight back pain. The only thing I could say is, I mean, slight back pain is okay as long as it's not lingering back pain. You know, a little bit of aggravation can be okay when you're slinging big weights, but, you know, you just have to be really, really. Could you move down to 405? Yeah, you can do a lot of work with 405, my friend. Arnold Voice, you need to shock the muscle. Happy Friday, massive people. What do you think the biggest misconception people who don't lift have about people who do? Probably one that they just use steroids or live in the gym. People think I live in the, you must live in the gym. No, actually, I don't. I don't live in the gym. What do you think people overthink most in lifting? Programs. I made a video that programs don't matter, and they really don't. Whoa, if programs don't matter, why do you have programs? Well, I mean, what program you use doesn't matter, so fuck your program. You know, there's no magic programs. That's the point of the fuck your program. But it's more exercise selection and nutritional consistency and progressive overload. And however you piece that together, that's the big thing, like weekly. But people want to believe it's overthinking splits and things like that. It's super overthinking. Zachary, you know what? You know what? It's irritating is when they won't drink diet anything because of aspartame. Yet they'll drink 3 cups of sugar in a regular soda. Yeah, that's very true, man. Oh man, I think that was in reaction to my rant. People are scared to death of aspartame. Sugar is fine though. Yep. I can't relate to people who don't experiment with their diet when they're fat. I tried so many diets over the years until I got it right. Balance is the key. Yes, it is. I like my stuff, man. I like nachos. I like beer. I like pizza. Man, I do. I love them probably more than you guys. I do. I don't like French fries and ketchup. That stuff just gives me the whoopie joobies, right? I don't like that stuff at all. But I love this stuff, but I have to balance it or else I hurt myself, right? Are you using a Podomo rant timer? Rant timer. What is my timer though? I don't know what timer this is. I'd have to check if anybody's interested in the timer. Bruce, thank you, sir. You gotta get that's right, you gotta get fed up. You got like people, if you think it's normal to feel the way you do at 40 and 50, it's not normal. You don't have to feel like that. Your stomach feels awful and your joints hurt because of your weight and your food choices. How can I get the most on my workouts if I only have? You got to get some weight, man. You got to get some weight. You can't. I'm not going to lie to you. You got to get a gym membership. You got to sell your plasma every week. Save up some money. Do an OnlyFans. Cater to somebody with a foot fetish, right? That way it's only foot porn, right? Do something. I'm just being silly here, so don't panic or cancel me. But you got to get some heavier weights, my friend. You got to get some heavier weights. I don't care if you need to become Batman and fight crime or whatever to raise a few extra bucks. You gotta scratch some coin, my friend. You gotta scratch some coin. Olvie, real talk. Thank you. Matt, thank you for the donation for my rant. Thank you. Would you wear a belt on bench press? You can wear a belt on anything. The point of a belt is tightness. So if pushing your stomach against a belt helps you control the weight down, that's perfectly fine. Lunges, cry, Bulgarian split squats, happy. Yeah. It's amazing that like Bulgarian split squats, I started doing after 37 years of lifting. So for me, don't judge. I'm not trying to sit up on the high mountain, but for me, they felt easy. Like these are easy. But if I give them to other people, they're like, these are the devil. And I get it. But lunges for me are hard. Big Brian Self, doing one of your workouts, what does bulldozer mean? There's two things that bulldozer can mean. A bulldozer lateral, which I have in my shorts section on this, not in my shorts, not right here. I don't have a bulldozer in my shorts. You know what I'm saying? In the shorts section on YouTube, there is a bulldozer lateral video. That is a lateral variation, but bulldozer also means rest pause. So basically, you do as many quality reps as you can, rest 10 to 15 seconds, do as many as you can, rest 10 to 15 seconds, and you repeat for 4 or 5 total sets. Jason, please help. I have no arse. My back goes all the way. Sorry, man. I wouldn't do RDLs twice a week because of the lower back pressure. Reverse lunges. I believe if you do lunges on elevated forward lunges where you can stretch down a little bit more, and if you can find a glute kickback machine, that's kind of good as well. I find when I do kettlebell swings, they hit my glutes. Does anybody else find that? I can't seem to develop my teardrop. I'd like to look at your program, Sam, and just take a look. So if you can kind of send me just what quad work you do in DM, I'd be happy to take a look. How do you feel about good mornings? I like wide stance good mornings where you push your butt back sorry, I don't mean to lean into everybody's face. You push your butt back like you're doing an RDL to lower the weight so you get some glute feel, some hamstring feel, and some lower back feel. Jake Gyllenhaal's physique has made a mockery of us all. Hard work over 4 years. He's probably trained for 6 months. I don't know his history. Yeah. So did he get bigger recently? If I intermittently fast just to delete a meal while cutting and lift at, no, you're not going to lose out on any gains. The only way you're going to lose gains is if you're inconsistent or not taking enough calories in per day. How do you do deloads? Sean, I don't plan deloads unless I'm peaking and really going to need a week off after the peak. I save time off for when I mentally need a day off, when I physically feel beat up and need a day or two off, when I get sick, when there's a holiday or life event, birthday, take a day off, Christmas, take a day off. I like to save days off for unplanned things in life. Like this week, I'm trying to sell my house. I had to take a couple days away from training because of all the headaches. So I don't plan deloads, but I take an extra day or two off when I feel physically or mentally I need it, or when I get ill, or when a life event comes up. Those days will fill up our schedule pretty quickly. Are there any non-fitness related? Yeah, man. Beard Meets Food, MEAT. Beard Meets Food. Love his channel. Just good content, a good guy. Love his channel. What else do I watch? There is a dude that does amazing. It's called Munich Productions. Munich Productions. MOONIC. Dude has kind of a deformation on one of his hands, but he does these amazing quality studio recordings. Like his latest is What If Napalm Death wrote Sugar by System of a Down, or if Slayer wrote Living on a Prayer, Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. So just give me 1 second. I got a phone call here. So yeah, that's those are some of my favorites. What do you think of the Arnold's Golden Six? I don't think they're enough. If I'm going to do them, I'd want to build a bigger, more robust program from them. John Doe, how do you program differently? Intermediates, beginners are more feelers. You give them more of the basics. You give them a little bit more dumbbells and machines. Not a big difference. It's more maybe minor exercise selection, but not a big difference. I don't want as much of a reliance for beginners on RDLs and deads and squats, so we kind of ease into those a little bit. And Beery, absolutely. What retro video game did you grow up with? Well, I grew up on the Atari, man. I like in the 80s, playing Space Invaders, Missile Command, that sort of stuff. I never liked Pac-Man. And then we used to go to the arcade and play all the, favorite games. But console-wise, like I got into multiplayer online games around 1999, 2000. I really liked Asheron's Call. And I played that on and off for 5, 6, 7 years. I love that game, online game. PlayStation and Xbox games that I've liked. God of War is one of my favorites. The first two. Shadow of the Colossus. Love Shadow of the Colossus. What an amazing gaming experience that was. That's one of my all-time favorites. And Rocket League. Man, I had a Rocket League addiction for a couple years. Loved Rocket League, but always sucked at it. I think I reached plat. And that's it after so many games. What is your favorite and least favorite body part? Not counting abs, calves. Biceps, probably my least favorite. I'll do them, but like I get to them, I'm like, right, do I really want to do these? My favorite to train, probably back. Is it a good idea to work arms all day in one hand? Well, you could have fun with it. But you just got to kind of watch the overuse stuff. Speaking of teardrop, does that start showing at a certain... usually it's size. Like I can kind of see my teardrop even if I'm at 22, 24%. Jason, thanks, dude. I'll do kettlebell swings. You bet. Mountain Man, thanks for your answer. Have a good weekend. You too. I watch Beard Meats Food too. Yeah, I love that guy's channel. Just a good guy and fun challenges, entertaining stuff. How many weekly body part sets do you count blocks? How many weekly body part sets? If you do a 5-minute block, I'd probably count that as 3 sets. 100 rep lunges, maybe 2 sets. You use whatever judgment makes sense. Thoughts on 90-degree back extension pendlay row? No, I don't like the 90. Like the original pendlay row was like a 90-degree extension. My variation, no. Deadlifts, there is no substitute. That's okay. You can just fill in with other back work. But, if you want lower back work, you can do back extensions. But I would not kill your pendlay rows. Kill your lower back with pendlay rows like that. What do you think about the muscle group tier lists? Really haven't had time to watch them. So I can make my own if you guys want. I really don't have a lot of time these days to watch other videos, though I do kind of keep an eye on things. All right, last question. Thanks for the channel recommendation. We'll check them out. Thoughts on replacing lateral raises? Yeah, go right ahead. With easy bar rows, though, you have to think about moving your elbows and shoulders up to move the weight rather than just trying to lift right here. All right, guys, that's it. We're out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining in. Please check out coaching at superlivingtoday.com. Head over to superlivingtoday.com. You can get workouts. You can get some t-shirt. You can get some whey protein. Just check out my site and poke through it, please, today, just once. Support a small creator. See what I have to offer. It's all quality. I guarantee it. And if you need coaching, I would love to help you out. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we are out of here.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.
All right. Have a good weekend.